get a vision for the guitar the same way you got a vision for the bow?
No, that happened differently, but it was very obvious. It would just pop into my head out of nowhere, typically when I wasn't even thinking about it. All of a sudden it's there. It's like changing a channel in a TV. It's all of a sudden, bang, I'm going, oh. So that's one of the reasons why it's so obvious to me that it's divinely, divinely put. I mean, I'm not even working on the problem, and all of a sudden this idea goes bang, like a change of channel, and I'm going, oh, that makes sense, So there's quite a few things that are different about it, the guitars. I can explain it to you. And all you guys, they do give tours down there at the guitar and the bow company during certain times of the year. You got to check ahead of time. But the guitar, it would be pretty much all year round. Bow companies, certain times of the year we can't because we got new product that we don't want to get out, as far as the knowledge of it. But guitars are almost always available, but it'd still be best to call first. But yeah, it's fun just to see how God has brought this all together. And if you see it in person, you realize why we did it. There's just so many things different. You can get on the website, you can look too. Our bracing's different. The way we attach our neck is different. The hole, of course, is in a different spot. Somebody was trying to explain to somebody what I did there, and he said I missed. Put the hole in the wrong spot.
So a lot of it looks like what you might see in a piano, the way the braces are done.
Yes, to be honest with you, a lot of the professionals tell me that it's like the difference between an upright piano and a grand piano.
Right.
Ours sounds like a grand piano of guitars.
Right.
They just ring longer.
We have an old piano that was built in 1929.
Yeah.
That uses the Adirondack red spruce
Yes.
soundboard and everything.
Yes.
And so when I saw the picture of that guitar, I said, that looks like my piano.
Yeah.
And the materials you use are similar to that as
We
well.
do use Adirondack in some of our best guitars. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
In your business affairs, what kind of setbacks did you had that, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, kind of like alongside the head, and then how did you overcome those setbacks? Because people dealing with business, and either entrepreneurship or whatever, there's some things you just didn't see coming, and, and how God inspires you to create new designs, yet the business end of the world is not so divinely inspired, as you could say, and how did you overcome those setbacks?
Yeah. Are you free till tomorrow? Right? I could just kind of point out some of the things that happened. The problem, I knew that in the designs that God's given me, they look different. And so I knew that would be a barrier, and that would be something that would be tough to overcome. And a lot of the businesses that you all start maybe have something unique and novel about it. And there may be a good reason why you're doing it, but it's still maybe a little out of the comfort zone of what people normally, are familiar with. So I knew that here I'm building a compound bow with one cam, and people are used to compound bows with two cams, as an example. And so I just literally, had hardly any money, just borrowed some money from some friends, and I just said, God, I'm kind of in a little bit of a quandary here. How do I sell a product that nobody really understands? And honest to goodness, just like that, I heard him say, you've got to take away their inhibitions. I'm like, inhibitions, that's not even a word I normally use. But I understand what that is, inhibitions. He said, you have to take away their inhibitions. If you take away their inhibitions, they'll buy your product. I'm like, wait a minute, that's awesome. That's a great idea. So to give you an example, how many of you scuba dive? Okay, so you can't participate because you know all this stuff already. But let's just say that I was going to say, guys, when we're done here, we're going to go to the lake and we are going to scuba dive one at a time here. Now I want you to know though, if you go down like 30 feet and you just take a big breath and you hold it all the way up, you're probably going to blow your lungs up. So you could die. So okay, how many are coming with me? Right? All of a sudden, I've created an inhibition that most of you probably didn't know that. You can blow your lungs out because the air is pressurized. It has to equal the pressure of the water pressing on the chest, or you'd never be able to suck the air in. So if you're at 30 feet and you bring the air into your lungs, as you start coming up, if you don't let that out, it can actually blow your lungs out. So again, anybody want to go scuba diving with me? So what there is there's inhibitions out there for all kinds of things. But if I next told you, hey, I'm a master dive instructor, I've taken more than 5,000 people down, which I haven't. But if I was a master dive instructor taking more than 5,000 people scuba diving, and I only take you one at a time, I will be with you the whole time. Nobody's ever gotten hurt, and you'll have the time of your life. Who wants to go with me? What did I just do? I took away most of your inhibitions, if not all of them. Okay? So that is something that came real clear to me, and I realized, oh, okay, well, the reason why people wouldn't buy my bow would be because they have inhibitions not to. What are those inhibitions? It looks weird. I build everything weird. I got to put a hole on a guitar in the wrong spot. I put one cam on a bow instead of two cams. So I realized, okay, what I need to do, and I started looking at the market, and I started realizing, you know, nobody really has explained very well how even a two-cam bow works. And I've been building two-cam bows for many years before I ever built a single cam. 20-some years, actually. Some of it privately, and then some of it professionally. And so I thought, well, okay, I'm going to do the marketing since nobody else has really explained how two-cam bows work. And I did a really good job in marketing. We got together, we just really made sure that our marketing was solid, explaining how two cams work and how, and the weaknesses and how a single cam overcomes that. So when we got done, even though we were a new company, we just gave them a bigger comfort zone with what we're doing, and we kind of just became the authority. And it was amazing how fast it grew from that point. So we just, all of our marketing was basically set up to basically instruct and teach why single cams were superior. And it took very little time. We grew so fast that we made Inc. 500, number 78, the fastest growing privately held companies in America in 1998. And we made Inc. 500 again the following year. And to keep on the Inc. 500, you have to be exponentially growing. And we had, I think in that year, it was like a 370 possible, something like that, % growth over 5 years. Can you imagine 370-some% growth in a row, 5 years straight? You know, you can't do that forever. You own the world, you know. And which would have been okay with us, but it did slow down. So anyway, God was able to just really use that in a powerful way to grow the company, and that allowed me to get into, well, he said, I want you to start building guitars, and that just kind of opened up another avenue. And people, when they say, hey man, what's the connection between guitars and bow and arrow? First of all, I play guitars, and I love bow and arrows, but they're both stringed instruments, as funny as that sounds. They're both stringed instruments, right? And almost certainly the first stringed instrument was a bow and arrow. If I took that bow that you just grabbed, and I set it on the table here, and I pushed down on it and plucked it, this would be the soundboard, and you would realize it amplifies. And that's how stringed instruments, I'm certain, probably had started. Because people had to eat before they played music, right? So the hunters probably were hanging around, and they probably set it on a hollow log, the bow, and just leaning on it, and they plucked the string and realized, oh, was that D or?